My name is Sheila Unique, and my business is The Unique Approach. Today I want to talk a bit about addictions. And I invite you to consider this. When it comes to addictions, what are you actually working on healing inside? Is it the addiction? Or is it what put you into the addiction in the first place? So allow me to share a story with you. My mom recently was telling me about the situation when they were growing up, how Grandma and Grandpa had had 5 children. Everything was going okay. And when Grandma had the 6th baby, the baby was born with spinal bifida. And it didn't last for 3 weeks. The little one passed away. And it was shortly after that my mom had said how my grandpa had started to do more drinking. And they felt maybe when the baby had passed away that maybe Grandpa was a little more bothered about that than he had been previously. Because up till that time, Grandpa would have a drink socially and it was never a problem. But they said they observed how Grandpa all of a sudden, he would have a drink and he would be lost in thought. And they noticed that he was a little more preoccupied after that event happened. She even mentioned that maybe he felt that he was responsible in some way. Anyway, my grandpa turned into be a really bad alcoholic, and it did cause some problems in the family. But my grandpa's not with us anymore. What I want to show you through that example is when it comes to addictions, consider this as far as maybe where you might be in your healing journey. Yes, there's the addiction, can be overeating, it can have to do with drugs, can be alcohol, whatever your addiction might be. If you're recovering, what are you recovering from? Not long ago, I was talking to someone and I was sharing how if you are recovering from an addiction, to consider this whole point about, is it from the drinking? Is it from the drugs that you're recovering from? And that really surprised this person. They hadn't considered that before. When you think about situations in life that maybe cause you to do different things, one example I could give you would be, for me, for example, there's times where I've gone into a spurt where I would tend to overeat. Those would be challenging times for me, and I would notice my weight would go on and I'd be in this whole loop again about losing weight, putting weight on, losing weight. Have you ever been there? Doesn't feel fun. That's been a major part of my life. That was something that we dealt with in our family. But as I've moved along on my journey, the more I deal with the unrest inside of myself, the things that bother me about myself, the things that along the way I just haven't liked. I'm sure maybe you've experienced having a part of your body that you don't feel so great about. They call them body flaws or whatever they're called. The more I would set my intention to heal the unrest inside, the more I started to treat my body, myself better. And I was sharing with my mom as she was talking about that story. I said, I would get to a place where at the end of the day, if I was kind of bothered about something, we would eat chocolate, we would have chips, And now I'm finding more and more as I move along on my journey that that's not something that I enjoy anymore. But I contribute the change to the changes that are taking place inside of myself, because I've set my intention to love myself more every day, to be in a place where I can help others to also recognize that. So let's go back to addictions. If you were going along and all of a sudden, maybe when you were in your teens, maybe when you were in your 20s, and you were going through a time where it was really challenging, maybe even you struggled or you had to fight your way through a different phase of your life. If you use something like drugs or if you use something like drinking, that doesn't make you a permanent addict for the rest of your life. You'll get to the place where you will be recovered, not hold the space of always recovering. That's huge when you think of moving through different phases of your life. The more you love yourself inside, the more that energy is all about you, the less you'll turn to that. Because as you love yourself, you're also dealing with the things that you don't like or you don't love about yourself. Those things will show up in your day-to-day life. It could be as something as getting in an argument with the family, and every time you see the family, you're arguing. Well, when you step out of the family and you go, you know what? I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to argue anymore. Help me to heal this inside. The more you heal those areas of unrest, the more you step back and look at those struggles and you have to's and you should haves and you could haves. And the more you put them to rest, or the more you resolve the unrest inside, the more you will be in a very loving space, an empowered and energized space within yourself. And then it's about moving forward in life. The work that I do is basically about self-awareness. It's about feeling empowered. It's about feeling energized. So I invite you to consider looking at addictions in a different light. Being in a space where, you know what, maybe through all the healing work, maybe through all the processing you've been going through, that maybe you don't need that label anymore. The label of being an addict or a recovered addict or whatever word people tend to want to put on things. My name is Sheila Unique. This is the Unique Approach. I invite you to consider working with me if you're in a place where you do want to work with unrest. I take things that are perceived negative, turning them into positive, life-enhancing experiences. If you feel that's something for you, I invite you to connect with me. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Go to theuniqueapproach.com. You'll find all of my information there. Thank you.